Hello YouTube, it's Rob from Maxwells Grass Cutting Services based in the northeast. I hope everybody's well on this beautiful sunny day. Today's video, my weed and feed business. It's easy for you to say. How's it gone? Anybody who follows the channel knows that last year I came up with this wonderful idea of adding weed and feed to the services and spraying weed killer to the services that I offer. So over the winter I went and got qualified in my PA1 and PA6 license, bought all the gear, and then started advertising it as part of my services. How did that go? Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you all the kit I have and what I use and the costs of it. Then we'll come back and I'll tell you whether it's been successful or whether it's been a flop. I'll tell you how much I've earned, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do to go forward. All right, I'll see you in a minute. So I've quickly put some equipment together, what I use for me weed and feed. What we've got there is the Still SG51 backpack sprayer. That is solely for weed killer. I don't put anything else in that, and at the moment my weapon of choice is Roundup Pro Vantage. Now that's a 5 litre container there, and it costs 99 quid, which is quite a huge investment really, but you can get, I put approximately 20 millilitres per 10 litre backpack sprayer. So my maths tells me I get approximately 50 10 litre backpack sprayers worth for £99. So that's 2 quid every time I fill it up, which is good value. I never use that for anything else other than Roundup killing weeds. Moving on, the weed and feed backpack sprayer is the Cooper Pergola 15 CP15 Classic. The reason I went for the 15 and not the 20 is just pure weight. And at the moment I'm using Green Solutions 1899. That's 10 litres, and 1 litre will do 200 square metres of lawn. So my math says that's £5 a treatment. If you're doing 200 square metres, you want 25 quid, so it's costing you £5 for the treatment, £20 profit. The weed killer there is from Green Force. I've tried it a couple of times. I'm using it half strength at the moment. That's because I don't have the confidence that it won't burn the lawn, but thus far it's doing really well. And down here is the iron solution from Pro Clean. It's been sort of, everybody does a video on that. It kills moths, and as we know, it turns the lawn green if you use it on a lesser rate. That was about 10 quid, that tub. They have gone up in price now though. And moving on for the granular, I've got a little tub there. I always put my bags of weed and feed in a tub, just so it looks more professional, easier to carry, and less chance of dropping and spilling it, so you're getting stains. I've got a little evergreen handheld dispenser there, which I use regularly and I like. I think it's fantastic on small lawns and sort of larger lawns. And down here we've got the Scott's evergreen sort of wheel spreader. I use that on setting 24, and I find that gives a good spread for the 3-in-1 weed and feed. And I've been using Miracle Grow this season because the professional stuff is just so expensive, and I find the 4-in-1 Miracle Grow weed and feed treatment does a lovely job. And if you combine it with a little bit of Green Solution and a bit of Green Force weed killer, you get a really good job. And finally I've got me leaf blower here, me Husqvarna leaf blower. Why have I got that there? Because every time I put some granular feed down, I always leaf blow the granular back off the paths and onto the lawn, because if not, you come back and you've got stains all over the nice patios, and that can cause, you know, a bit of problem. So this equipment here, along with the PA1 and PA2 course, I don't know, it's got to be 1400 quid, hasn't it? But fingers crossed it'll be worth it in the long run. So that's all the equipment I bought to get the weed and feed side of the business and spraying up and running. There's about 1400 quid worth of gear there, isn't there? Has it been a success? In short, no, it hasn't. But I'm comfortable with that, and there's only one person to blame for its lack of success, and that is me. If you follow the channel, you know that I had a winter job. So I was busy over the winter period working in Northumberland, and also I had my winter commercial work to take care of, and then the season just kicked in really quickly, didn't it, in early March. We were so busy up until a week in April where we got rained off, and I've been really busy since. I took a job on an estate, which is no more, and my plan was to do the weed and feed on a Wednesday, or tag one on to the end of the day if you watch videos and you follow the channel. But I just didn't have time. And you know, when you're not self-employed, you're working for someone else and you get given a task, a mission. If you don't feel it, if you don't sort of see it through to the end and you're not successful, you feel, you know, I failed. But in business, I'm learning it's not about that. It's not like that. You come up with an idea and you run with it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you've got to reflect and say, why didn't it work? And I'll tell you why it didn't work. It didn't work because I didn't put enough into the marketing. And I'm only just starting to do that now. I made a decision. I don't want my van fully sign-righted up with beautiful pictures of lawns. I've got my magnetics. I like to take them off at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another couple of magnetics advertising the lawn treatment side of things. I'm going to update Google business pages and update my Facebook page and update my website, and then we'll see what happens. So how many customers have I got? If I remember rightly, I said I wanted 100 by the end of year 1 and 200 by the end of year 2. Well, I'm up to 21 customers. 21. And that is a mixture of customers who I look after the lawn and new customers that I've got who have just rang up and asked for quotes. And that equates to approximately 1,800 quid a year gross. Not financial year, from sort of mid-March until the last treatment in about sort of October time. It's not a lot, is it? But it pays for what I've invested. And this year, what I'm doing is I'm learning, and I'm using it as a learning curve. And I've got one of my customers' lawn. It's just a small lawn. It's full of weeds. And so I'm putting a spot weed treatment down. And then I'm going to put some I'll start again. I'm putting a spot weed treatment down. And then I'm going to do some liquid nitrogen feed. Then I'm going to put some iron down, and I'm going to just monitor it over the course of the year, see how I get on. Now, I've used some of those products, as you've seen, and they work well. They do work well, but it's a skill, and we've all got to start somewhere, so I'm learning as I go. I thought I could just jump in and go with it, and I was speaking to the wife, and I said, I'm a bit disappointed. And she said, Rob, when are you going to get time to do all this? When have you had time? She says, you've been working every hour God sends. She said, sometimes it just doesn't happen. And she's right, isn't she? But it will happen. And it's another string to the business. It's another bow, or whatever the term is. And it will continue to grow. But you can't get upset with yourself, and you can't sort of feel sorry for yourself. It just hasn't taken off the way I thought it would. And it's my fault. And it's been a lack of time and a lack of commitment to it. But I'm trickling along, and I'll get there in the end. It's like the scarifier. I spent 1,000 quid on a scarifier. And as we know, scarifying really is, it's at the beginning of the season and towards the end of the season. And that cost me 1,000 quid. And it's only just paid for itself. But there's no profit there. But it's there now, it's paid for, it's done, and as the years go along, it'll earn a few quid. So that's the weed and feed side of the business, which hasn't been brilliant. But I've learnt a lot, and I'll continue to learn. What have I learnt? Granule has gone through the roof, and if you can use liquid weed and feed, it seems to be a little bit cheaper and give you better value. When I was on my PA6 course, you do PA1 then PA6, and on the PA6 course, the backpack sprayer, there was a chap who was on there working for a national franchise. He didn't own the franchise, he was working for one of the franchisees, I think that's the right word. And basically, he didn't tell me exactly what goes in the backpack sprayer, but he said that they use all liquid feed, they don't use granular, and they add the nitrogen feed, the weed killer with a little bit of fairy liquid, shake it up and everything goes in, and they treat the lawns and it looks lovely. So it is a bit of a learning curve, isn't it? And yeah, you know, I'm comfortable with it. I've invested a few quid, I've got a few quid back. It hasn't been as profitable as I thought, but that's down to me, and it's a learning curve, and I'll continue to learn and move forward. So that's that. Disappointing, I know. I bet you thought, oh, he's made fortunes and it's gone brilliant. It hasn't. And sometimes in life, that's reality, isn't it? But what do? We keep marching forward. We bite down on our gum shield and we keep going forward, don't we? And that's what I'll do. I'll continue to grow and continue to learn and continue to sort of move forward in a positive light. Because if you moan about it, you're just going to fail, aren't you? Anyway, that's me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, when the green gold's growing, keep mowing. Take care now. All the best.